What if I told you that a story over 200 years old is just as relevant today as it was then, perhaps for another reason? What if I told you that a story about turning straw to gold is about more than that? Hi, I'm Jay, and today's episode of Fairly Odd Therapy looks at accountability through the lens of Rumpelstiltskin. Let's get to it. There once was a miller who lived with his daughter. Although they had enough for themselves, the miller wanted to be more. In order to appear more than what he was, the miller bragged to people in the kingdom by claiming his daughter can spin straw into gold. Well, the story gets back to the king, and the king calls for the girl and the miller to be brought to him. He locks the father in a dungeon, and he locks her up in a room filled with straw and a spinning wheel. He demands she spin the straw into gold by morning, or he will have them both killed. When she has given up all hope, a little imp like man appears in the room and he says he will spin the straw into gold in exchange for her necklace. She agrees and the imp gets to work. The next morning, the king finds the straw was turned to gold. So he takes the girl to a larger room filled with straw to do it again. The imp appears in the room and he says he will spin the straw into gold in exchange for her ring. She agrees, and again the imps start spinning the straw. The king returns the next day to find the straw is spun into gold. On the third day, the girl is taken to an even larger room filled with straw and told by the king that if she can spin all of this straw into gold, he will marry her. But if she cannot, then both she and her father will be executed. Again, the little imp appears and says that he will spin the straw into gold for her, but the gold tells him she has nothing left with which to pay. The strange creature suggests she pay him with her firstborn child. She reluctantly agrees, and he sets about spinning the straw into gold. The king keeps his promise to marry the miller's daughter, but when their first child is born, the imp returns to claim his payment. She offers him all the wealth she has to keep the child, but the imp has no interest in her riches. But he agrees to give up his claim to the child if she can guess his name within 3 days. The queen sends a guardsman to gather all the names he can in a day, believing that one of them has to be the imp's name. At sunset, the imp returns and the queen reads all the names off the list, none of which belongs to the imp. The queen sends her guardsmen out the next day to gather even more names, again believing that one of them must be the name of the imp. At sunset of day two, the imp arrives and the queen reads off the names from the list, and again, none belong to the imp. But before that night, that final night, her guardsman wanders into the woods searching and comes across a remote cottage and watches. And he sees the imp hop about his fire, singing, "Tonight, tonight, my plans I make. Tomorrow, tomorrow, the baby I take. The queen would never win the game, for Rumpelstiltskin is my name." Well, the guardsman goes back and tells the queen what he's heard. When the imp comes to the queen on the third night, after pretending to not know his name, she says, "Your name is Rumpelstiltskin." And this causes him to lose his temper because he had lost his bargain. And Rumpelstiltskin was so angry, he stomped so hard into the ground that his right foot created a hole and he falls into it, never to be seen again. The king orders the miller to be freed from the dungeon, but he's not allowed to live in the castle. The king, queen, and their new baby lived happily ever after. What does this story teach us about accountability? Well, accountability can be defined as the ability to claim your actions or decisions as your own, discuss the reasons behind those actions or decisions, and accept the consequences for those actions or decisions. The miller lacked accountability for his lies. He could have and should have explained why he was lying about his daughter's ability. Doing this would have prevented he and his daughter from being called before the king. Even in front of the king, he could have explained why he lied, but he didn't. The daughter could have told the king she was not able to spin straw into gold. She could have told the king this after the first night. She could have told the king about the imp. She could have told the king before the wedding, but she didn't. And she lacks accountability because she accepted other people's actions as her own, even to the point of promising her firstborn child. Rumpelstiltskin was holding the miller's daughter accountable when he returned to claim the child. Even then, she tries to bargain or change the conditions of the agreement. But Rumpelstiltskin only wanted what was promised, no more, no less, and even gives her a highly improbable way out of the deal, much to his demise. You see, in recovery, we have to be accountable for our actions every day. We have to claim our actions, our decisions as our own. We must be willing to discuss our reasoning behind that action or decision and be willing to accept the consequences of those actions or decisions. That may mean we need someone to help us hold us accountable. It may mean we may focus on bargains we've made with ourselves and those in our lives. We very well may need our very own Rumpelstiltskin. No one can assign or give us accountability. It's something we have to take on ourselves every single day. Until next time, I'm Jay, and I want you to take care of yourself.
If you like this video and want to see more, make sure to click the subscribe and like buttons and turn on notifications.